Hello, welcome back. Have you ever wondered what factor has the biggest impact on your credit score? All right, are you looking to purchase a home? Maybe you're looking to have high-limit credit cards or a new vehicle. In this episode, we're going to talk about what bills actually affect your credit. You'd be surprised to know that not all do. The do's and don'ts of how to improve your credit score, things to do that can cause massive spikes in scores, and then we're going to finish with tips on how to maximize your overall score. So as it turns out, not everything lands on your credit profile, and there is some confusion about this. Some things that will land on your credit profile include mortgages, student loans, your auto loans, of course, your credit card payments. Some things that are not going to land on your credit profile and can be a source of confusion are going to be anything that you maybe pay as a service. Like as an example, your cell phone bill, your electricity, all of your streaming services. None of that stuff is accounted on your credit profile. A lot of people get confused by that because they think that maybe their rent that they're paying gets put on their credit profile. Now, to be clear, there are ways to get those things added to your credit profile. Experian Boost is one. You can sign up for their service and they'll add all kinds of things that you pay, self-reported type things that you pay to your credit profile to help grow your score. Although, if you're going to apply for a mortgage, self-reported doesn't necessarily impact your mortgage score, but it can help grow and establish your credit profile. Okay, before we get into how to grow your credit scores, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. I'll be working hard to bring you one video each weekday over credit lending and other personal finance topics. Okay, so now let's talk about the biggest things you can do to grow your scores. There is no magical equation to grow your scores. The biggest thing you can do to grow your scores is to pay your bills on time, right? You're going to hear me say this over and over again. There's plenty of other companies that are going to talk about all kinds of other ways to kind of game the scoring algorithm, do all kinds of other things that may grow your scores. But the reality is paying your bills on time is the biggest bucket within the scoring algorithm. It represents roughly 35% of your score. That's a huge amount. So here's some tactics that can help you pay your bills on time. And I'll tell you what I do personally. What I do personally is I have a separate account that's devoted to all of my bills, and I put everything on auto pay. At the beginning of that month, I make sure that there's enough money in that account to pay all of my bills. Now, mind you, I have a lot going on in my budget. So I've got a lot of things going in and out of my account. Auto pay is a lifesaver, and this is something that I talk to people about all the time. And they say, well, you know, what if I want to pay more on my credit card and not just the minimum payment? I say auto pay is a beautiful option because you can make that $25 minimum payment and then circle back later that month to make the rest of the payment if you want to pay it off that month. In addition to auto pay, almost all of your creditors are going to have some way to alert you. You can sign up for credit alerts, emails, text messages. There are so many ways and so many resources out there to help you pay your bills on time. It is definitely an art. I have clients from all walks of life. I've got clients that make $30,000 to $50,000 a year. I've got clients that make hundreds and hundreds and thousands of dollars a year. And this issue of paying things on time does not just stop because you make less money or you make more money or because you don't have a degree or you have a master's degree. It affects mostly everybody. It's really just training yourself to pay your bills in a certain way to make sure everything is captured. And if you're a really busy person like I am, I don't have time to evaluate all that's coming in and then make sure everything gets paid. Set it up on automatic and just don't even worry about it. Just make sure there's money in your account to cover those things. That's the biggest absolute tip to growing your scores. So the next thing that I highly recommend you do is that you subscribe to a credit monitoring service. Here's my recommendation. It makes sense to subscribe to a system like that. It does. I subscribe to credit monitoring. My wife subscribes to credit monitoring. It's of a day and age where we need to monitor our credit, we need to dig through our credit, we need to manage our credit just like we would our checking account, just like we would our savings account. Ask yourself, how many times do you log into your checking account every week? For me, I log in, it's got to be 3 or 4 times a day, right? I'm always checking to see what's going on. Your credit is the exact same thing. You need to manage it like it matters. You know why? Because it does matter. It matters. It's one of the most important things of your entire life. So you not only need to have identity theft insurance, you need to manage it every single month, but you need to know what's going on at all times. You should be logging into whatever system you choose regularly. I log into my credit and my wife's credit probably once or twice a month to evaluate what's going on. Okay, so you have your credit monitoring service and you've gone through all of your report. You're gonna look for anything that looks to be out of place, anything that's inaccurate, anything that may be unverifiable in your own mind, anything that you don't recognize. You legally have the right to dispute those accounts. You can dispute them with the 3 credit bureaus. You can dispute them with, if there's a collection agency involved, you can ask for validation of debt with the collection agency. You can also dispute it with the original facility. So in terms of biggest impact, we've established that paying your bills on time is by far the biggest impact. That's 35% of your score. The second biggest bucket is going to be what's known as debt or credit utilization. There's several different areas within this particular bucket. We're not going to talk about all those. The biggest portion of this particular bucket is going to come from your credit cards. The lower your credit card balances are in proportion to their limits, the higher your credit score. There's 2 specific thresholds. Your second best threshold is going to be under 30%. The first best threshold is going to be under 10% of the limit. So what that means is if you've got a $1,000 limit, staying under that $100 mark is going to put you in an optimal position in terms of growing your scores. The next piece of the puzzle is going to be the length of history or average age of accounts. It accounts for 15% of your credit score. And then there's 2 kind of final buckets left. One is going to be credit mix. It's worth 10% of your credit. And another one is going to be new credit or inquiries. And that's also 10% of your credit.